The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Anna stepped forward, her boots clicking against the crystalline floor. Beside her, Leo carried a sealed containment unit, its contents obscured by frosted glass. "You waste our time, human, Counselor," Vexthor rumbled, his 6 eyes narrowing in disdain. "Your species has been part of this council for barely a cycle, yet you request an emergency session for what exactly?" Anna met his gaze without flinching. "To introduce our proposed allies in the war against the Krath Dominion." A ripple of interest passed through the assembled delegates. The Krath had been pushing into council space for years, their advanced weaponry and ruthless tactics making them nearly unstoppable. Every species had contributed their finest warriors, their most devastating technologies. And still, they were losing. "Your allies?" High Chancellor Moras leaned forward, her translucent wings catching the chamber's ambient light. "Humans. You have only 12 colony worlds and a modest fleet. What allies could you possibly offer that we have not already considered?" Leo placed the containment unit on the presentation platform and stepped back. Anna touched the release mechanism, and the frosted glass cleared. The council chamber erupted in laughter. Inside the unit, hundreds of tiny creatures no larger than earth mice skittered about. They had 8 legs each, crystalline carapaces that refracted light into rainbow patterns, and antennae that twitched constantly. "You jest!" Counselor Vexthor's booming laugh echoed off the walls. "The Zethari? Those insignificant vermin? We catalogued them centuries ago." Another delegate chimed in. "They inhabit the outer rim worlds, harmless scavengers with barely any intelligence. They're classified as non-sapient." Orchestrated narrative arc, revealing underestimated allies' hidden potential. Good start. Now, I need to show Anna defending the Zethari and explaining why humans saw potential in them. Then I'll build to the reveal of their actual capabilities when partnered with humans. Anna waited for the laughter to subside, her expression unchanged. "We thought similarly when we first encountered them on Kepler 442b. Small, harmless, insignificant." She paused. "We were wrong." Leo activated a holographic display. 3 months ago, our research station on Kepler 442b was studying local ecosystems when the Krath launched a surprise attack. Our garrison was outnumbered 10 to 1. We should have been annihilated. The hologram showed a human settlement under siege, plasma fire lighting up the night sky. Krath shock troopers, each standing over 8 feet tall and armored in combat exoskeletons, advanced through the streets. But something unexpected happened, Anna continued. The Zethari intervened. Quote, "The hologram shifted, showing thousands of the tiny creatures emerging from the ground, from walls, from every crevice and shadow. They swarmed the Krath soldiers in waves of glittering bodies. At first, we thought they were simply fleeing the chaos," Leo explained. "But then, we noticed the pattern. They were attacking, but not in any way the Council's centuries of observation had prepared us for." The video zoomed in on a single Krath warrior. Zethari climbed his armor, their crystalline bodies vibrating at specific frequencies. Where they moved, the advanced alloys began to crack and splinter. "Harmonic resonance," Anna said quietly. "Their crystalline structure allows them to generate and transmit very precise vibrations. When coordinated, which they can do through pheromone communication, they can shatter virtually any material." High Chancellor Moras's wings had stopped moving. "That's impossible. Our xenobiologists studied them for years." "Your xenobiologists studied them as individuals, or small groups," Leo countered. "Humans studied them as a collective. We didn't look at one Zethari. We looked at what a million Zethari, working together, could do." The hologram showed the aftermath. Krath armor lay in fragments. Advanced weaponry reduced to component parts. The invaders had retreated, their first loss in 3 years of continuous conquest. "It's a trick," Vexthor growled, though his voice carried less certainty. "One battle proves nothing." "You're right," Anna agreed. She produced a data chip and placed it on the council table. So we ran 437 simulations with voluntary Zethari colonies, against Krath armor, against their shields, against their ships. She looked around the chamber. The Zethari can dismantle anything the Krath have, given time and numbers, and there are billions of them across the Outer Rim. But why would they fight? Morris asked. If they're truly sapient, why would they risk themselves for us? This time, Leo spoke, and his voice carried a warmth that contrasted with the clinical military briefing. Because we asked them, not as superiors to subordinates, not as a demand. We asked them as equals, as potential friends. He gestured to the containment unit. Every Zethari in this chamber volunteered to come. They wanted to meet you, to show you what they could do. Anna continued. The council dismissed them because they're small. Because they don't build starships or create art you recognize as art. But humans learned something important in our own history. The size of a species has nothing to do with the size of their courage, their intelligence, or their potential. She activated another display, showing star maps with Krath invasion routes. We've spent 3 months building communication protocols with the Zethari. They're not just willing to help, they're eager. The Krath conquered 12 of their worlds. They want justice just as much as we do. The council chamber had gone completely silent. Vexy's Thor stared at the tiny creatures in the containment unit with new eyes. If this is true, if they can truly coordinate on the scale you suggest, we could turn the tide, Morris finished, her voice filled with something that hadn't been heard in the chamber for months. Hope, Anna nodded. But only if the council is willing to accept allies they once dismissed. Only if you're willing to see potential where you once saw insignificance. She smiled. Slightly. It's something humans have gotten good at. We've been underestimated ourselves once or twice. 6 months later, the Krath Dominion sued for peace. Their military records would later reveal that they'd faced an enemy unlike anything in their conquered territories. Billions of tiny, coordinated creatures that could infiltrate any vessel, dismantle any weapon, and dissolve any armor. And behind them, the species that had seen their potential, the humans who had proven that, in the vast darkness of space, the smallest voices could roar the loudest when someone finally chose to listen.